Boyle and I'm quitting alcohol. So do you know where we are? We are back to reality. After a packed show yesterday, we are back down to 4 today, and it wasn't even that bad. It was actually pretty good. You know when like 4 people turn up to your show and everyone's sort of looking at each other going like, are we going ahead with this? Like, like, are we seriously going to do this? You're going to speak to us for an hour while we stare at you and we're the only ones in the room? It was just 2 of them at the start. I was speaking to the girl. The room was empty and there was an Austrian girl out the front and she's like, is the show going to start soon? And she was just by herself. And I'm like, yeah, is it just you? She's like, no, my boyfriend's downstairs getting a drink. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna start soon. Yeah, 5 minutes, whenever. Basically, whenever your fucking boyfriend gets back, that's when it's starting. And so he gets back, and there were already 2 guys in the room. And then they get up and walk out because I think they realize that it's going to be just them. And I'll just be like staring at them and telling my jokes weirdly at them. So they walk out and the girl goes, so do you still want to do the show? And I'm like, well, I've done shows to 2 people before. It doesn't really fucking bother me, to be honest with you. And I was like, is it going to be weird for you? And she's like, we don't mind as long as it's not going to be weird for you. And I'm like, well, the only thing I care about doing this festival is like 16 shows. So if you want to fucking sit there while I fucking tell a few jokes, then I don't have to cancel and the streak will stay alive. So we all went in, all 3 of us. They sat directly in front of me. I jumped on the stage and then a couple of minutes in, the dudes came in again. I don't know why, but they came in. They sat on the other side directly in front of me and we all had a little bit of fucking fun for an hour. It was actually good. Like, if you can make 4 people laugh and hold their attention for an hour, then that's a lot harder than making fucking 1,000 people laugh. Like, if you can do an hour with that many people and not make it awkward, it's a good indication the show's all right. And it was all right. Like, the Austrian girl, she was a little bit posh. She was on the posh side and she was like, she was pulling back on most of the things I was saying, but she was also laughing fucking hard at some of the stuff as well. So she sort of seemed like she didn't want to laugh at all at anything, but I fucking broke her. So that was good. And then I earned 20 quid from that show. So it ended up being all right. But boy, oh boy, the next few days are going to be fucking rocky. I have a funny feeling it's just going to be the weekends that are buzzing because I walked around today and there's like 3/4 of the people in the street that there has been the last 2 days. So just got to fucking push through. Anyway, fucking last night after the show, came back, did the podcast, released a podcast, decided I'd take a fucking shroom. Just a little bit. I just fucking knocked off a little corner of a fucking mushroom and took it. And it did fuck all. I waited an hour and then I was like, fuck it. I'm going to take a full one. These are the shrooms some fucking dodgy cunt named Jack who came to the fucking show gave me. By the way, thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. So I fucking took another one, which was quite a bit bigger than my fucking corner. And then I went out with the Irish boys, the Irish comedians, fucking Mark O'Keefe and Richie Sheehy. And we went down to Biddy fucking Malone's or whatever the fuck it's called to meet the fucking poor cunts that drove all the way from fucking Leeds, 5-hour drive to see the show and missed it just to hang out for a bit. So we walked down and the shroom starts kicking in and I'm like, fuck. This feels like it's coming on a little strong. But I didn't take much, so I was like, fucking just ride it out. So before we went to Biddy Malone's, I fucking needed to take a piss. So I went into a bar along the way, expecting just to go in and out, take a piss and leave, just like normal. Just like I normally take a fucking piss anywhere. but fucking it was a lot harder to take a pee than I had anticipated. I walk in there and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this pub? It was chaos and I couldn't find the fucking toilet. So I went to one side of the bar. There was only a girl's toilet there and there was a line for the girl's toilet. And I'm just like snooping around trying to find the fucking gents. And there was no gents that side. So I have to fucking trek all the way to the other side of the bar. I still have no idea where the fucking men's toilets are. Everything is starting to look weird. I'm starting to notice that fucking some of the Scottish heads around here are some rough fucking heads. That's what mushrooms will do to you, is they will make you notice someone's fucking rough head. I'm not going to say some of the Scottish look like ghouls, but whoever was in that pub, it might not have just been Scottish. There could have been some Irish and English in there as well, but ghoulish was the theme. Anyway, somehow I make it to the other side of the bar and there's a fucking toilet and the door's open, so I just assume that it's the male toilets. So I fucking walk in and I'm like, this feels sort of weird. What is this place? And I look at a couple of the cubicles, because usually the cubicles are just covered in piss and fucking everything. So I look at a couple. The second one I look at, there's like what I can only describe as period blood in the bowl. And I'm like, is this even the male toilets? And I fucking look around and there's no urinal. And I'm like, I think I might be in the fucking ladies' toilets. I'm like, this is becoming way more complex than I fucking ever anticipated. All I want to do is take a fucking piss. So I bail out of the ladies' toilets as a fucking couple of girls walk in, looking at me weirdly. I'm like, where the fuck is this fucking male toilet? So I go lurking around. I finally find the gents' door and I walk into the toilet and for some fucking reason the lights are off. Just the world throwing me fucking curveball after curveball on these fucking mushies. That's what happens on hallucinogenics. Curveballs just get thrown. I'm like, why in this fucking packed pub is the fucking male toilet light off? So I walk in and I'm like, fucking, I can't see anything. And then the light turns on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I take a piss, that's fine. And then I go to walk out. And I open the door and this giant fat dude is just like standing in the doorway. I don't know what he was doing. He was just standing there. Like he was huge as well. Maybe he was catching his breath because there was like 2 stairs leading up to the fucking toilet door. So I open the toilet door. This fat fuck's just standing there and we're just like staring at each other. I'm like, hey. He's like, hey. I'm like, can I go through? He's like, yeah. I'm like, fucking hell, I just wanted to go fucking to the toilet. So I get out and we all go to Biddy Malone's and then we just fucking hang out and fucking chat for like fucking 4 hours. I'm tripping a little bit, but not much. Enough to keep my shit together. But I tell you what, being on mushies or a little bit of shrooms in a fucking pub in Scotland, you get to see the dirty underbelly of fucking alcoholism. You really get to see the fucking festering sore. I suppose you don't usually see it because you're so fucking drunk when you're in a fucking place called Biddy fucking Malone's or whatever. But on shrooms, you're seeing everything very clearly and you're like, what the fuck is this mess? As much as I don't drink, I still fucking love being in pubs. I had absolutely no urge to drink at all either. Everything was so clear as well. I'm like, this is like psychotic. Whatever's going on in here is insane. So I stayed there for fucking hours. It was a good night. All good. Now I need to fucking work out how I'm going to get some fucking people into my shows for the next few days. I've got no bookings for Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. No, I think it's just Monday, Tuesday. I don't know. But things are about to get fucking rocky. Anyway, that'll fucking do for tonight. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around. If you're in Scotland, fucking make the trek to my show. No matter where you are, just get in the fucking car, drive down, tell your friends about it. Hit me up on social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'll see you the fuck later.